What's up, everyone? I know it's been quite some time, but we are back and ready for the 2024 baseball season. We're going to do a tier list of the best first basemen in all of baseball. Kyle, how are we feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling good, man. It feels like it has been 3 months since we've last done one of these, and it's probably been a little bit, but obviously with MLB The Show slowing down, the offseason has just been a snooze fest, so we've just been waiting on the juicy stuff to come. Now that we got some stuff kicking off, we're finally ready to be back at it.
Yeah, honestly, this is the most excited I've been for an offseason in quite some time, but then it got a little boring with the whole free agency and Scott Boras kind of holding it captive, but now that Bellinger signed, I feel like Snell is on the horizon, Chapman's on the horizon, and I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do it, man. I'm excited. For real quick, how do you feel about the whole Vlad Jr. cover for MLB 24 and what we've seen so far?
I'll keep it real with you. I really like it, and that's because I'm a Vlad fanboy. I have a bunch of cards, so I'm fully invested. I'm going to be transparent. I know a lot of people wanted a Ronald or a J-Rod, but they're just forgetting about the whole you need to wait 3 years. But one thing I do want to say about that, I don't know if you saw it, but Tap Sports Baseball is officially out. Like, they've closed shop. J-Rod was on that cover. So what do you think about J-Rod maybe being 2025 cover athlete? Because I don't think the rules apply anymore.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a possibility. If he, shows out and he's electric because he's been, I don't see why he can't, I mean, him and Acuna are just two of the most, there's a reason why we wanted them, obviously. They're two of the most exciting guys, but we forget how exciting Vlad Jr. was. In my head, he wasn't even a possibility. Everybody was talking about Jose Ramirez or Ronald Acuna, all these guys, and then it was just like, oh, Vlad Jr. But obviously, still an electric guy. I'm excited to, I just hope everybody's excited for MLB 24 as I am, because there's nothing more electric than that first, opening week and all that. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
I need it back, man. I hope that storylines are fun. I hope it's just like the Bigs 2, and I know there's not a lot of feature premieres as of right now, but hopefully we have some good stuff coming. But speaking of Vlad, I feel like that's actually the perfect guy to start on. So we're going to start with this first base tier list. We're going to go through every single position over the next few weeks, so make sure you guys hit that follow button, subscribe. We will be on Apple Podcast and Spotify over the next few weeks, so we're not ignoring you guys. But Vladdy Jr., Kyle, S, A, B, C, or D? What you going for Vladdy Jr.?
So I'm putting him in A. And I know that...
Okay. So I'm going to leave him there right now, and then maybe I can convince you to go to S or B. But right now, Kyle has Vladdy in A.
Yeah, I have him in A because, I like to be a little bit more strict on the higher tiers, but I also don't want to put somebody, just this is speaking for the future guys we're going to be ranking as well. I take the S tier pretty seriously. I do think that Vlad Jr. has the potential to be S tier, obviously, sometimes. I just want to see, a little bit more consistency out of him to be able to put him in the same category as some of these other guys that we're going to have in the S tier. But for now, I have him in the A. Maybe you can, talk me off there.
No, I actually agree with you, because some people listening are probably going to say that he's in a B category now. I just don't think I can get myself to, after what I saw from him in 2021, he was still very good in 2022. Like, I've been doing my research. He went from like a 164 OPS plus to a 133, and everyone thought that he just kind of fell off. He won a Gold Glove. I know that he was buns defensively in 2023, but he still almost put up a 120 OPS plus, tears the covers off of baseball. So despite the regression, yes, I agree that Vladdy is an A, and I think that's in large part because of his bad luck. So I'm going Vladdy A, but by the end of 2024, back in S. That's my prediction.
I think so too. And that's why I was initially thinking, do I put him there? And it was like, let's base these guys off of what we've seen so far, not of what we think we're gonna see.
Now here's one that might throw you off. Okay. Christian Walker of the Diamondbacks, one of the best defensive first basemen we've seen in quite some time. He's a lock for 30 home runs, a lock for 30 doubles. He's been better than Vladdy over the last 2 years. So with Christian Walker, do you think that Vladdy deserves to be an A and we put Christian in A? What do we do? Do we move down Vladdy for Christian, or are they both A tier?
Let's say we were ranking our A tiers in order, right?
Okay.
I would have Christian Walker also in A tier, but I would have him in front of Vladdy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I would have him like significantly in front of Vladdy in the A tier probably right now.
So obviously, he's got a seat at the table, but he doesn't have the main seat.
Yeah, are you talking about Christian Walker?
Vladdy. So Christian's better than him. They're both at the table, but Christian Walker's going to get the bigger portions because he's better.
Exactly. So, like you said about some people maybe thinking that Vlad should be in the B in the B section, like that's kind of how I feel, where I'm not putting him in there yet, but I'm also not going to, give him the crown of the A section.
Right.
I do think that I'm looking at some of the other guys in my A section, and I'm not going to say Christian Walker is the best there, but I do think that he could easily have the best season and nobody would be shocked. I love, obviously, phenomenal defensively, and then the whole world got to see how he is offensively in the playoffs, but I've always been a Christian Walker guy. He carried me in fantasy this year as well. I love him, but just not, I'm really strict on the S section, man. I'm strict about it. But when you consider how well-rounded he is, I mean, there's definitely an argument for him to be an S.
Okay, so let's try and find our first B. Let's try and kind of like stack that criteria right now.
Okay.
For me, I feel like the easiest choice for B is Anthony Rizzo, because before the concussion, he was doing big things. The concussion happens where Tatis, it wasn't on purpose, but it was a very real thing, the before and after concussion. I mean, if you guys, do you remember Justin Morneau? Never the same after a concussion. So it is something that played into Anthony Rizzo not being his best self in the second half. Should I make him a B because of that? I don't know. What do you think about me putting Anthony Rizzo in B?
So when you think of Anthony Rizzo, what do you think his strengths are? Would you say if you're
and defense 100%? Like, he is one of the best first basemen I've ever seen at doing those two things.
What did you say before defense?
Getting on base.
Yeah. Okay. And that's fair. So I'm looking at some of the other guys in my B section, and it's hard to decide for a guy like Rizzo for me, like what section to put him in. I definitely wouldn't put him in A. It would be between B and C. Okay. I did have him in B. But I'm looking at some of these other guys, and I think right now there's definitely some other guys I value higher than him in that B section. But like you said, you can't really put the blame on a man because of a concussion. You can't say that he isn't, that caliber of player to be in a B. Obviously, we've seen Rizzo be a caliber to be an S tier guy, back in the day. So I got him in B as well. Okay. I think you're right. That is a pretty sure spot to put him. I also have another guy that I thought was a pretty sure B guy.
Go for it.
I think Josh Naylor is a perfect B guy because
you did me dirty with that one.
Because
the thing about
the only
Josh,
reason why,
hit me.
Okay, and you could put me on game, right? I mean, is he primarily first base or DH for you guys?
I don't know how it's going to be going forward if we call up Kyle Manzardo, who we got from the Rays, but he played primarily first base last year, and he was great defensively. He was actually pretty good.
Okay, see, when you tell me that, it's like, oh, man, I'm looking at some of the guys in the A section, and I mean, dude, Josh Naylor, another guy that I paid a lot of attention to this year because, like I said, I had him in one of my my big fantasy leagues, and that guy was just an offensive machine. He was just a juggernaut for me. Obviously, he got hurt for a little bit, so that kind of held him back. But man, like Josh Naylor's awesome, and I do think he is super slept on. Can you tell me to put him in A?
I don't think I can just yet. I think that as a Cleveland fanboy, I want to put him in A, but because it was a 1 year sort of thing, like he's been good in the past, but I have to see him do it in consecutive years because the thing that really surprised me with guys like him and Bellinger, they went from being automatic outs versus lefties to crushing lefties. Belly hit 340 versus lefties. Naylor almost hit like 290 or 300. So I don't know where it came from. All of a sudden, he could just hit lefties. I have to see if I can see it again. So based off last year, the injury concerns, the stats versus lefties coming into 2023, I know it was a breakout year, and I want to put him in A, but I think that I should be fair to the other guys in A who have been doing it for a couple years now. I think that Naylor and B is a solid choice. Now, I don't know if
have we been unanimous so far in agreement?
Here's one that I don't think that we're going to agree on.
Okay.
Jose Abreu. I still got him in B. I still got him in B because
no, that's where I have him. I have him in B.
You do? Okay, because a lot of people might write him off because of the first half, but just like Marcus Semien when he started with the Rangers, terrible the first 2 months, but then he picked it up.
Oh man,
dude,
Semien was so brutal,
right? And then Abreu in the second half of last year popped off, and then the playoffs had, I think, 4 home runs and 11 RBIs in 2 series. So to me, I know he's old. He's like 38, maybe 37 years old, but I still got him in B.
Yeah, and it felt like Jose Abreu still has a crazy clutch factor too. I remember watching that key series against the Rangers, not the playoff series, but the one before it, when they were reaching the end of the season, fighting to clinch that AL West, and watching Jose Abreu hit that grand slam, and he still has that dog in him. I love him at B. Obviously couldn't really make an argument to put him any higher than that. And I really couldn't see an argument putting him lower than that. I really do think that's another sure guy at B.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Now, so we're 5 for 5 so far. I want to find someone that we might not agree on, and I'm gonna do it to you. I'm gonna do you dirty because I don't think you know a lot about Ryan Notta. Where are you putting Ryan Notta?
I'm gonna be fair. I don't know a lot about Ryan Notta.
Okay,
you know what I mean. So that one's tough for me. I don't really know much about any of the A's right now because they've been such a mess, and coming from the Bay Area, we've always just kind of stayed away from them. Obviously, they were electric to watch when they had like Yoenis Cespedes and all those guys, but right now we don't really watch too much A's baseball, and you don't see too much of it on like Sports Center and stuff. So I truly don't know much about Ryan Notta. So what I'm going to do right now while you elaborate him is I'm going to go and look up kind of how he did this year, and then I will make my assessment based on that.
Okay. I'm going to go two guys at the same time because I feel like they're both in the same category, but they do things differently. All right, so I'm going to go Ryan Notta in B. I do think that what I saw from him last year, even though it was his rookie season, it was enough for me to say that dude is really good at what he does, and that's getting on base and playing solid defense. Actually, I'm kind of lying. I think he plays solid defense. I haven't looked at the stats recently, but I'm also going to put Ryan Mountcastle in the same B conversation. Now, Ryan Notta, he's going to get on base at a higher clip. Ryan Mountcastle, he's going to struggle to get on base at a higher clip, but that power is legit. So because Ryan Mountcastle has consistently been such a prolific power hitter, I'm going to put him in B. Ryan Notta, because of his on-base skills, and he's just a big guy, so he's going to play first base well, in my opinion. He's going to he's going to clog the bases, but they're both going to. I just think that they do things well. They're different players, but they do things well enough to earn that B spot, in my opinion. So no one in C yet, at least for me, but do you agree about Ryan Mountcastle?
Wait, so you said Notta in B or C?
B, so I got both Ryans in B.
Okay. I didn't have Notta ranked because I was going to wait on you to elaborate it because, there's a lot of guys that I love asking your opinion on it and get my information through you. But Ryan Mountcastle, I did have in B. I already had him rated in B. So I full agreement on that. Ryan Notta, I trust you. I'm looking at his on base. I see he batted 208, but his on base was 362.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue against your eye test because I trust you. So
but I'm a nerd when it comes to Baseball Savant, and what I love about Ryan Notta is he was top 2% in walks. He had a 15% walk rate, which is silly. And then if we take a look at his chase rate, he doesn't chase. He was top 6% in chase rate, so he swings at pitches inside the zone. And his barrel rates were really good as well. He was top 15% at barrel percentage and top 21% in average exit velocity. So when he makes contact, it goes a long way. And if he's not making contact, he's usually walking, which as a first baseman, that's what you want. So So, and just for the defensive side of things, he had a -3 outs above average, but first basemen don't tend to have huge positive outs above average. So I know he's a rookie. It's weird to put him in the same conversation as Josh Naylor. Maybe I should have Ryan Notta in C, but I think he earned it despite the small sample size, but maybe I'm an eternal optimist. I think actually, should we put Ryan Notta in C?
I mean, I'm looking at the 208 average
now, and you had him in C to begin with probably. Even though he wasn't ranked, I feel like if you're just a casual baseball fan and you hear Ryan Notta, he's not in the same conversation as Josh Naylor or an Anthony Rizzo.
It's hard to do. It's hard to put him in that section based off of just regardless, it seems like we haven't got a big sample size of him either. So I mean I definitely wouldn't mind putting him in either.
I'm gonna override it. I'm gonna say the red circles mean something in this case. Baseball Savant is carrying Mr. Ryan Notta. Is that cool?
Okay, perfect. Yep, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Now to me, this is our first C. This is gonna be our first C.
Okay.
And a lot of Nationals fans might not like this. Joey Meneses' rookie season, absolutely raked. I have to put him in C though.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, defensively, if I'm not wrong, he's a little bit of a liability, right?
Yeah, he's never been a great defender, but he's a lot like Ryan Notta. When he makes contact, that ball goes.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say this because I have a lot of respect for the guys that we have on the B section. The way I'm trying to do this is my S is the best of the best, right? The guys that I feel are truly elite. The A guys are the guys that I feel have years where they can be in the S category, but just may not show as much consistency as the S guys. The B guys are guys that I feel are pretty well-rounded and can do everything. The C guys are guys that I feel can only do either defense well or offense well, but are liability somewhere else. And I don't really have a D yet, I don't think.
I have a D for you right now. Oh, pause. Oh, wow.
Ooh,
I got
how big is it?
How big is it? It is Rowdy Tellez big.
Oh, you have him in D?
I have him in D. From what I saw from Rowdy Tellez last year, it was embarrassing. But I think that's because fair. I follow it more often, and I know he was injured, but I got Tellez in D after last year.
Okay, so I had him in C just based off of that offensive spark that he could potentially offer, even though, he's most likely going to be playing DH. I think who's going to be their first baseman in DH this year, you think?
So he's on the Blue Jays now. Wait, Rowdy Tellez is on... What is Rowdy Tellez on?
Oh, wait, hold on one second.
The Pirates. Isn't he on the Pirates?
I think he is on the Pirates.
Yeah, so he's going to be... Yeah, he's on the Pirates now.
Bro, okay, that just literally threw me off so bad.
And I just
because when you said Blue Jays, I was like...
Yeah, I was thinking of Justin Turner. My bad.
It's so weird that Justin Turner... Or you were thinking that Rowdy Tellez obviously was a Blue Jay before. Right. But yeah, that's... Definitely, he's going to look weird in a Pirates uniform.
So, yeah, but the fact that he hit 215 with an 82 OPS plus, he's one of the slowest humans to ever play baseball, I have to put him in D. Like, I love Rowdy Tellez when he's healthy, and he does rake, but because the poor defense, the poor on-base skills last year, the striking out, I just don't know if I can put him in C, even with someone like Joey Meneses. By the way, I feel like we skipped Joey pretty quick. He's good, but he's not rookie Joey Meneses anymore. So I feel like so far, I feel like we've got this pretty right. If MLB Twitter came after us, I feel like so far we'd be doing pretty well. So let's go for no, we'd be fine. But let's go for the Brewers. So because we just talked about Rowdy, the former, let's talk about the new first baseman for the Brewers, and that's Mr. Reese Hoskins.
Yeah, see, Reese is another guy that, man, like, I love Reese and I love his potential and everything like that. Just for right now, I feel like I have him in B.
Okay, no, that's where I have him too.
I feel it's hard to put him really anywhere. You're not going to put him lower, obviously. No. But it's like, he could have a crazy first half and have us be like, oh, we should have him at A. But as of right now, it's just, I think B's okay for him. Okay.
I mean, honestly, I have nothing really to add to that because I fully agree. Last time we saw him before that ACL injury, I mean, he gets on base at a high clip because he always walks. The strikeouts are going to be there. But in 19, he had 116 walks that led baseball. Last year, 2022, he had 33 doubles, 30 home runs. Like, the dude's going to get you 29 to 37 home runs. He's going to drive in 100. He's going to get on base. And because he's a first baseman, I'm taking that every single day.
And he's going to give you a badass bat flip if he's in the playoffs.
Yes, he is. He's borderline A for me when healthy.
Yeah,
but I just got to see it. So if he gets locked in and we get a Reese Hoskins prime year, he'll be back in A up there with some other guys going into next year. But let's try and get an A. We just kind of hinted at maybe Reese Hoskins improving, maybe becoming an A. So we talked about a few A guys. Screw it. Let's go for an S. Who is going to be our first S? Are we going for an easy one, or maybe we're going for a dark horse?
Let's just go for the easiest one, who I feel is the easiest one.
Okay, you're going to say your easiest on 3. I'm going to say my easiest on 3.
All right. 1, 2, 3, Freeman.
Bryce Harper. Oh, okay.
Dude.
All right.
Freddie Freeman is the S of all S's, I feel like, dude.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put mine because we're not going to disagree that Bryce Harper, he's an S, right?
Yeah. No,
Both of
obviously.
them up. So, okay, how about this? For the next 2 years, who are you taking, Freddie Freeman or Bryce Harper?
Oh, see, that's unfair. Because if I had to put my money on it, I'm going to pick Freddie Freeman. Because Bryce Harper could just get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, if I needed a guy that you said, hey, Kyle, you need a first baseman. He's got to perform. Our window's closing in these next 2 years. I'm picking Freddie Freeman. He showed no signs of slowing down. He's not going to get hurt. He's going to be consistent. Dude, I'm a Giants fan, and I love Freddie Freeman. I love him. Okay. He's just Mr. Consistent. He's the most reliable dude. I feel like he's just an automatic S.
I 100% agree with you, and I mean, he could win MVP, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah,
even with
exactly.
Mookie Betts on his team and Ohtani and other guys like Ronald playing out their prime, he could hit. Honestly, if anyone's going to hit 370, I think that him and Luis Ariz have the best chances. But I don't know if you got into it. I know first base is not a defense-first position, but Bryce can play first base, bro. He can pick it. He is someone that he can grab it like on his backhand side, flip it to second, complete that double play. I love Bryce. I think that he's going to be a fantastic borderline Gold Glove first baseman, and he is the two-timer. I'm still taking – I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm still taking prime Bryce Harper over prime Freddie Freeman, but for 2024's sake, I think I have to give the edge to Freddie Freeman.
You know what? But what you said, there's no shame in that at all. I will take prime Bryce Harper over prime Freddie Freeman. But the question is, when both of their careers are said and done, whose career are you gonna say was more consistent and more valuable? You know what I mean?
That's more valuable. It's gonna be unfair because Harper had that whole defense and right field situation, so he had. It's skewed at that point because the run value is different in right field than it is first base. Like, you barely get any help with your WAR at first base. So that's going to be different because the WAR is going to be a conversation. But you got to admit, like, when Freddie's he's consistently hitting 310 with 45 doubles and 25 home runs, and then he stole 23 bags last year because of the new rules. It's just crazy what he brings to the table. It's
ridiculous. And it's just a smart baseball player. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I love Freddie Freeman, but I want you guys to comment on YouTube and let me know who you guys would rather have, because I am curious. You know, I do think that, I mean, Bryce Harper is just so sexy. Like, that's the best way to put Bryce Harper. You know, he's just sexy. And Freddie Freeman's kind of just like that old dude that's not really that exciting, but he really is. You know, like he's just a god, and he's been for a while. I think Freddie Freeman is a lock for an S, and I think Bryce is too. There's no doubt about it. You know, I think you could flip a coin to decide who's going to have a better year. You know, Freddie Freeman. I just, when you think of the guys that are the most consistent over the last 5 to 10. I'm not even going to say 10 years. Over the last 5 years, you think of consistency. It's hard to argue for anybody over Freddie Freeman. You know, maybe Mookie. Because
consistency is Freddie. Consistency is Freddie 100%. Because even Mookie's always going to be valuable because he brings the defense. He sometimes has the batting average dips. Freddie's the same guy year in and year out. Yep.
And obviously you have guys like Aaron Judge and Trout, but they're not healthy enough to even give you that sample size, you know?
Right.
So when we're talking about a guy to have and trust and rely on, Freddie Freeman is definitely one of them.
Okay, I'm going to throw two guys at you at once. All right?
Okay.
And I'm going to leave this to you. This is going to be you. Okay. Chris Bryant, Pete Alonso. Go.
So I was just going to say we need to talk about Chris Bryant because I'm sitting here staring.
Huh? Dude, I'm sexy. So the blue eyes,
I'm staring at his pretty eyes, and I'm just so disappointed in him, you know?
It sucks because he was actually kind of decent in 2022, and then he got hurt. Comes into 2023. He's not even decent in the box anymore. He was one of the worst players in baseball last year.
Dude, I feel like we would be too biased and we would be too nostalgic and relying on the.
I know what you're about to do.
I'm not going to put him in D, but I'm going to put him at C.
C?
Are you putting him in D?
I should. Man.
You can't. No matter how much he falls off, you can't put him in the same section as Rowdy Tellez. I can't. To be fair, by the way, you talked me out of Rowdy Tellez. I moved him from C to D because if he's not going to be good offensively, then why is he there, right? So I agree with that. Okay. I've been skewed on that.
I'll give you Chris at C, even though it burns my soul and his pretty blue eyes want to talk me into putting him back into B. But we do have to be fair that the best availability is availability. right?
Yeah.
Or the best ability is availability. And then simply you got to be productive. And he hasn't done either of that the last 2 years. So it's not because we don't like him. It's not because we don't believe in him. He could very well be an A first baseman by the end of the year. But, okay, all right. I feel bad. But, yeah, he's there. If you're watching, I still believe in you, buddy. All right, Pete Alonso.
I still want to go on a date with you. Right. Pete Alonso for me was kind of difficult. I actually initially had him in S and then moved him down to A.
Oh, I had the inverse. I had originally in B, and then I talked myself that he's Pete Alonso. I got to have him in A.
Oh, you had Pete in B?
Yep. But then I have to remember that even though he had a down year, that doesn't negate the fact that he's been an absolute monster the years prior. And you have to just take it with a grain of salt with his defense. Again, he's a first baseman. We're not talking about a defense first primary position like center field.
Yeah.
So even though he's a butcher over there, like an absolute butcher, one of the worst I've seen since Adam Dunn, he's so good and prolific offensively. He's not S for me. And for some reason, something was telling me B after what I saw from last year, but he's 100% A.
Dude, I mean, but even when you talk about his off year, right? Like,
it's still 134 OPS.
I mean, dude, bombs. 46 tanks.
Oh, I don't know what I'm talking. I think he kind of bothers me sometimes, even though he's an optimistic guy. He's just a goober. Sometimes, I don't know. Maybe I'm a Pete hater. Maybe I'm just
dude,
a Mets hater.
Like, when you listen to this, right? 46 tanks, 118 ribbies, 65
118
walks.
last year?
Yeah, bro. He had 21 doubles. I mean...
Okay, yeah.
His OPS was lower. His OPS was the second lowest it's ever been. But dude, I mean the offensive production, like that Mets team would have just been so putrid to watch without him.
True.
Sometimes
him and Lindor.
Man,
I'll give you A. No, I'll give you A. I'll give Chris C and P A. For some reason, I thought he didn't. I don't know why. I thought he had like 36 home runs last year, so I thought it was a slower year for Pete, but okay, no, he proved me wrong.
He still hit some yawns, yeah.
But I'm gonna say this: someone did surpass him last year. Someone did leapfrog Pete to go into S tier last year.
Oh, I know. This might
be a hot take. This might be a hot take.
Yeah,
you gotta have to be kind of nerdy about it.
Yeah,
but Yandy Diaz, man, Yandy Diaz.
Do you even have to be nerdy about it though? Like, I feel like people know about
the casual fans. If I say Pete Alonso, Yandy Diaz, whatever his first name is, they're gonna go Pete Alonso 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I mean that you're right. You're right about that. They will.
But the thing is, so if we take a look at Yandy's last few years, right? If I told you that player A in baseball, I'm not even gonna say his name. If I said that player A over his last 2 seasons, so from 2022 to 2023, is hitting .314 with a 151 OPS plus and a .406 on base percentage, you're thinking, yeah, give me that guy. I want that guy. He hit .330 last year, Kyle.
I can't argue against that being elite. You know, that's insane.
It's just the problem is when people think of like the best first basemen and the elite of the elite, you want a power hitting. You don't give a shit about the defense. You want home runs and run production. Yandy doesn't have huge home run pop. He had a career high last year with 22, but he still had 35 doubles. And again, that on base percentage is sick with that 330 batting average. So
Jesus.
The more I talk, the more I'm like, he's sick, but also I feel like maybe I was disrespecting Pete by not putting him in A.
Yeah. Yeah,
so I'm thinking the more if Yandy's going to be an A, I feel like honestly, Pete's probably going to be an A too for how long he's done it for, right?
Pete's a lock at A for me. Yeah, okay. Pete's a lock at A.
I moved him up. Pete's now an A.
Okay. Oh, you had him in B the whole time.
No, I had him in A.
Wait.
I had Pete in A. I thought we agreed on A for Pete.
Yeah, we did. Wait, what did I say? Did I say he was a? I said he was a lock for A, right?
You thought you were like flip flopping between S and A.
Yeah. No, I have him in A. I haven't really. I initially put him in S before we even started discussing, like before we even got on started recording, and then I was like, you know what, he better be an A because I want to be a little bit more strict on it. And because I'm being a little bit more strict on it, I also have Yandy in there. Because I didn't really want to have to decide in my head which of them deserve it when it's like I'm. But everything you've said about Yandy, it's true. You know, he had a 5.2 WAR. I don't see why I shouldn't have him In S.
Okay, so let's not like make these cement picks. We'll come back to them if we feel like one pick makes us sway another pick a different way. We can always do that. Like if I say Paul Goldschmidt, even though he had a down year last year, to me he's still S.
I have him in S. Yeah, I have him in S.
So the down year, I know he regressed. The age is definitely a factor, but I still have Paul Goldschmidt in S tier.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's like I'm looking at the S tier guys, and with Yandy and with Pete, it's like, as complete first baseman, do I put them up there with these guys, or do I just, because A is a great section, A is great, right? It's like I could comfortably have these guys in their own section, and then there is no really any disrespect, But I can't be mad at you for having Yandy at S, but I'm glad we agree on Goldie.
I mean, maybe people might say we would flip-flop Walker and Yandy, but I just don't think – maybe we value different things as a baseball fan, because I still somewhat like defense, and that's why I like Walker. Maybe you don't value power as much, so Yandy is going to be someone that's an on-base god, so Yandy makes sense. Even Walker and S would actually not be that bad for me, but I feel like we do have to separate. And to me, there's only one more S-tier first baseman. We'll probably talk about him later on.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that guy.
I think we are going to agree on that one. But with Christian Walker, I mean, look, if you're doing this list, right, and you don't care about how many S-tier guys you have, you could easily have 7 S-tier guys. Oh, yeah. Right? You could. But to me, S-tier, it's just S-tier should almost have the least amount of people in it, right? You gotta have some exclusivity with it. If I'm doing an NBA rating thing, I'm gonna have 2 guys in S, and it's gonna be basically LeBron and Jordan, and then we'll go after that. So that's kind of how I feel with the S tier thing. And I'm looking at the S tier right now.
It looks solid.
Well, once we finish, we can go over what I was about to say. But I like. So far, it seems like we're pretty much in agreement on everything.
Okay, here's a tough one, and we got to go through these a little bit quicker. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
I got some stuff to do. But I'm going to throw 2 at you. Nathaniel Lowe and Tristan Casas. Both very talented. Both great at different things. Where do you have Nathaniel Lowe?
Dang.
I got him in B.
Yeah, Nathaniel Lowe, I was between B and C. But when you have a guy like if Ryan Notta's in B, I'm going to have Nate Lowe in B, And I do think Nate Lowe was obviously just I know we're trying to go a little bit quicker. I was going to check his exact batting average, but I know there was a point where he was just, hitting at a high average. He was consistent in that lineup that was already stacked. I like Nate Lowe at B.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was going to finish the Tristan and let you say,
but
go ahead
I
and
agree with you in B, because Nate had that really good 2022 with, I think he hit like 302 with the 140 OPS plus. So he's got it in him to be absolutely insane. The only thing is the 360 on base percentage last year was still pretty good with a bunch of doubles. So, actually 38 doubles, a 360 on base percentage. Maybe, okay, this is how I might justify Nate being an A, actually, because he's actually pretty good, Kyle.
An A. Wow. Okay.
Nate's been good for a while. But Tristan, for me, is a B as well. So if we're going to have Nate Lowe in B, Tristan Casas makes a lot of sense at B as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at... Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. You go.
Okay. With Tristan Casas, I was just going to say that I completely agree on that one. In the small sample size that we had with him in 2023, he was awesome. Super high OPS, good averages, good on base. I can't argue against that one.
Okay, so speaking of like getting on base and stuff like that, I'm going the Italian Nightmare, Vinnie Pasquantino. I'm tempted, honestly, to say A. Honestly, I know he regressed last year, but Vinnie Pasquantino is, to me, as a nerdy baseball fan, an A first baseman.
How many games did he even play last year?
It wasn't a ton, and there was unfortunate regression. But if we take a look at what Vinnie Pasquantino did. So he only played in 61 games, but he still had a 108 OPS plus. But his rookie year in 72 games, 295 batting average, the 135 OPS plus. So actually, he's B for right now. I think we have to try and separate like ceiling and what he's capable of from actual production.
Yeah, because if we're just doing projections on next year, it could be a totally different list. You know
Right.
what I mean? We could have Vlad Jr. in S. We could have, Goldie in A if we think he's gonna regress more. But yeah, I would say what we're basing it off the last few years, maybe what
Yeah,
we've seen
B
from
makes
them.
more sense actually now that I think about it. Okay, so we got
Yeah.
Nathaniel Lowe, Tristan Casas, and Vinnie Pasquantino all in B. What
We
about
got
a
a
guy?
stacked B section.
Yeah, B is stacked. Now, that's not Nolan Shanuel. That is Zach Neto. So let's talk about Nolan Shanuel.
Okay.
It's hard to rank that guy. It's not. It's almost not even fair because he just barely got called up. He was drafted last year.
Where
But
would you put him?
The thing is, like, the power wasn't there. He has a little bit of pop, and his main thing is getting on base. I think even to this day, he's got an on-base streak going into 2024.
Okay.
Nolan Shanuel, it's so tough. I think I'd go C.
I mean,
I think I'd go C for right now, just because I haven't seen enough. I need some pop over there. I think I'd go C for right now, Nolan Shanuel, and then if we redo this in 2025, I'd have no problem with putting him in B if he can repeat it.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, I do like the 402 on base percentage.
It's just the sample size is so small. Like Akil Baddoo had a 402 on base percentage his first 30 games or something like that.
So, well, he would be in the S section, so we wouldn't even have to worry about it. So yeah, I'm okay with Nolan Shanuel there.
Okay, again, it's Zach Neto's face, but Nolan Shanuel.
That's so funny.
No, I know Zach Neto. What are we doing? But I don't know if there's not a picture of Nolan Shanuel, but let's kind of throw some other C's and D's because these guys are fun. These guys are cool. I'm sure they're all great guys off the field, but we know when we're looking at a guy like Andrew Vaughn, cool guy, he hits the gaps. He does drive and run, so I do want to give him credit for that, but I'm not going to put him in the same conversation with a Vinnie Pasquantino, but I will put him above Rowdy Tellez, so he's a C for me.
Yep, I'm completely okay with that. Awesome guy to have in BR too, by the way.
That dude rigged. He's a silver, right? Or is he a bronze?
I think he's a bronze now, but I do think he kind of was one of those guys that would flip-flop silver, bronze, silver, bronze.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, awesome BR guy. And yeah, I'm okay with him being above Rowdy, of course.
What about I'm going to throw out Michael Busch. It says he's on the Dodgers, but we know he's going to play first base for the Cubs. We got Michael Busch.
See, that's another one. I had two guys that were, I had three guys that were sitting unranked. And I was waiting to hear your input on Michael Busch for me to really make a decision on that.
Well, in the next video, so this is like our first run at this. In the next video, maybe we'll get rid of D or add another. I don't know how many tiers you can have, but we'll add a like needs one more year or unranked, or we'll figure out something.
Yeah, because you got these guys like Nolan Shanuel, like it's hard to really make that decision. Ryan Notta,
like
how can
fair
you
category, unfair.
Yeah,
so Michael Busch, we got to see more. Shanuel, got to see more.
Yeah, I agree. So based on what we have seen, right? I mean, he's played 27 games. 81 only 81 plate appearances. Did not have a good start. Like, it is unfair because you look at this and there's no reason to really not put him in the D category, right? But you have a young guy who could just go. How old is he?
He's like 25.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, he's 26.
Let's just, for the sake of this video, I know it sucks that Michael Busch has to be in a D conversation because of how we structured it, but we'll be better next time about the final tier. Because maybe a Rowdy Tellez deserves to be in a Andrew Vaughn conversation as opposed to he's the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
But I guess Tellez, Busch, I think another guy that might be in D is, I mean, I can't put Ty France. I'd probably say Ty France is a C after last year. But the thing is, Ty France got on. He was only saved last year, Kyle, because he got hit like 34 times.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, if you take a look at his on-base percentage, it's decent because
funny.
He got hit 35 times or something crazy like that. Or I don't know how many times he got hit, but it was a lot.
Hey, man, he's in the right place at the right time,
So Ty France
he got hit 34 times.
34 times. What about
he led majors?
Yeah, Ty France and C, right?
Yeah, that's pretty bad that the only two times Ty France has led the majors has both been when he's been hit by pitches in the year.
21.
That is absolutely crazy. But yeah, that's...
You got him in C, right?
Yeah, I have him in C. I do.
He does flip-flop between B and C for me.
Yeah, I would agree too. I mean, you kind of have to put him in C right now. If you... Looking at him. Yeah. I'm definitely okay with C for Ty France.
Because he had 12 home runs, 20 the previous year. He had 291 and 21. Yeah, he was pretty good. 99 OPS plus. Again, he gets hit a lot.
Yeah.
Is that disrespectful? He had 32 doubles. But he only had 58 RBIs and 100. Yeah, I'm going to put him in C. 58 RBIs in 158 games as a first baseman. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
And there's just so many other guys. I mean, you look at the B section. You're taking all of those guys over Ty France right now.
What about so Jamier? I don't think he's going to play first base, but he's on the list. I mean, we could pretend he's Cody Bellinger because I think Pete Crow Armstrong is going to play center field. So do you want to pretend Jamier is Cody or do you want to pretend he's Jamier? Because I think Cody's going to play first base. But Michael Busch could play first base. You know what? Screw it. We'll leave Cody for like an outfield position.
Yeah. Let's leave him because it's safe to rate him as an outfielder, right?
What about Jamier?
Man, he came out so hot when he got to Chicago.
He did.
That was so cool to see.
I have him in B. I've seen enough from him as a Guardians fan, and when he was a third baseman for the Tigers, I have him at B after last year.
Yeah, I'm not going to put him in the same category as Chris Bryant right now. I'm going to have him in B as well.
Okay. This is where it gets a little bit weird because these guys have had like good years and then bad years, because like I'm still looking at Ty France wanting to put him in B.
No, I don't want to put. You could put him in B. So I'm completely okay with him at C.
Let's do Jamier in C then.
Do you want to?
I think Jamier in C makes more sense.
So you're putting Jamier in the same section as Andrew Vaughn and Chris Bryant?
It's because like he was a great third baseman when he was hitting 16 home runs and something like that. I mean, last year he had 39 doubles, 22 home runs. Ooh, that's pretty good. 119 OPS plus. I just need more. I need more thump, even though that is some good production that might not make sense.
Yeah,
we'll come back to those guys.
See, I think for him it's just not a sexy pick, but I do think I would have him in B for mine. Okay. I look at Chris Bryant and I look at Joey Meneses and Andrew Vaughn and how Ty France was last year. I just don't know if they belong in the same category.
Okay.
But we'll go back to it.
So this is why I'm thinking Ty France goes to B with Jamier.
Okay.
It's because of Carlos Santana. I can't put Carlos in D.
No, he's a safe C, right?
But I don't think that Carlos is Ty France.
But
you see what I'm saying? Like, unless there's different. So we have 5 tiers, but then there's tiers within the tiers. Because it's like
but
there's different levels of C.
Yeah, is Ty France even Ty France? Like, is Ty France the Ty France you're thinking of?
Maybe not. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason we have him here, right? And I feel like the stats kind of back it up.
So that means Jake Cronenworth's got to be in C as well, right? Despite the fact that he did rake a few years before, or are we putting Jake in B?
I'd put Jake in B.
Jake the rake. Yeah, I guess you guys have to. You guys are true baseball fans. Let us know. Are we putting too much emphasis on 2023? Should we factor in sample size? Because based off sample size, yes, Jake is B because that dude was raw for 2 consecutive seasons. I think even dating back to the COVID season. So yeah, he's definitely better than Carlos Santana.
I think there's a chance we might be a little bit heavy on 2023, but in reality, for these rankings, 2023 is the most indicative year, right? It's the most relevant year because it's the last thing we got to go off of. So when you think about regression and improvement and all this stuff, like that is what we should be thinking about the most. But you got guys like, where we have Goldie and stuff like that. I mean, we are putting other years into consideration. We got Reese at B. We got Vinny at B. We have Rizzo at B. I do think we've done a good job considering everything. I don't think Jake should be a C really. I'm okay with him being a B. Obviously, these tier lists could be completely different and at All-Star break this year, but I think for right now we're judging him appropriately.
Okay. And then some other guys like a Josh Bell, he hovers between B and C for me, because I'm so mad at him as a Guardians fan. He stunk in the first half, but then he tore it up with the Marlins, and he's had some insane. I'm talking about like 130 to 150 OPS plus seasons. I think he's been crazy in the past, and he's got that switch hitting, and he's got the power too. For me, he goes between B and C. I'd probably stick him in B. I'm not gonna lie. You'd say C?
I would honestly be okay with him in either. I am okay with him being in B, just considering we have like Carlos Santana in C, you know?
Okay.
And we have, I'm okay with him being B. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Then we got Lamont Wade. You're a Giants fan. What you got?
I have him at C.
C.
Okay. I think any guy that you have to platoon, right? I mean, we platoon him. I think you kind of have to discredit somebody for that, right? Like you said about Josh Naylor. I mean, made his improvements to hit against lefties. That makes you valuable. If you can only play in 60% of the games, or if you can only play a majority of the game 60% of the time, then I just don't really.
So you just can't really case for Ryan O'Hearn being in C.
Yep, I'd have him right next to him.
Because he had 26 at bats versus lefties, 320 against righties.
Yep, I have him right next to Lamont Wade.
Okay, so you have Ryan O'Hearn at C. So we have two guys left, and these are both. One of them's easy. One of them is we can have a conversation. Which one should we do first?
I want to do the easy one.
All right, Matty.
Easy S.
Wait.
Easy S.
Wait, I thought you were talking about Torkelson is S, right?
Ha! Oh, yeah. Spencer Torkelson. Yeah, he's the S.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Matt Olson's a D, bro.
Yeah, Matt Olson's a D, bro.
No, but
right next to Chris Bryant. Just two of maybe the most attractive men on this list. Nah, it's got to be Bryce. Okay, no, we're putting Matt at the top.
You got Bryce, you got Matty, you got Chris Bryant.
Dansby. Just section.
If we're talking about all of baseball, I mean, you got Giancarlo.
Yo, if you guys want us to do a handsome tier list, let us know.
Oh, dude, those I specialize in. That's when I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one pulling out the stats. Okay. Well, when you look at face symmetry, I'm going to figure out everything.
So Matt Olson for sure S tier, and then Spencer Torkelson. Actually, let's spend 2 seconds on Matt Olson because he set the record for Braves home runs and RBIs, which is insane to say considering the people who have played for the Braves.
Studs. Just they've had studs their entire franchise. Just to know that he's the one who did it. I mean, he's just elite, dude.
And honestly, you don't get points for this, but maybe you do. He's one of the nicest players I've ever met in my entire life.
Oh, you met him?
Yeah, I did an interview with him when he was on the A's. Genuinely, so Matt Chapman saw me. The person, his PR team asked if he wanted to do an interview with me, looked me up and down, said no. Matt Olson.
Matt Chapman did that?
Yeah, Matt Chapman. So ever since then, it's been F Matt Chapman, Matt Olson all the way. And then he popped off last year more. I knew that Matt Olson had some pop. Near 60 home run pop, and he's still 29, 30 years old. So he's got more room and time to grow. Matt Olson's for sure S. Torkelson, the Torque, fantastic second half. I shouldn't say fantastic.
No, I mean, it was pretty good, though. At least fantasy purposes, it was really good. Okay. But, I have Spencer at B.
Spencer at B.
Ooh. Do we disagree there?
The thing is, okay, so this is how people ask me, who would I take? He's not in D. All right, I dragged him too far. I'm going to put, you said B for right now.
I said B for Spencer.
B for Spencer. So here's how I look at it.
Okay.
A lot of people are asking me, Fuzzy, who would you take for the 2024 season? J-Rod or Bryce Harper? I'm still going Bryce Harper because J-Rod was mid for 4 or 5 months, okay? Just because Spencer Torkelson broke out and he's got a lot of talent doesn't mean that I should put him in B with a Nathaniel Lowe or a Josh Naylor.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I'm going to leave him in B because for some reason he's just looking at me on this little tier list like, dude, I deserve to be here. And because he was a number 1 overall pick, it just took some time for him to get used to major league pitching, and he finally figured out how to hit that fastball in and not chase that slider away, even though he still does. He's no Javier Baez at that. But the exit velocities are there. The peripherals are there. You could convince me that Torkelson is B, but because of that, I feel like I have to put Ty France in B.
Okay, that's fine. I think
but also C is fine for both of them. B is fine for both of them. So it's like, okay, what do we do?
So you just want, it's basically like, if you're going to have Spencer there, we need to have Ty France there and vice versa?
Exactly. Okay. Because Ty France hasn't been a bum. He still had a 99 OPS plus. I know he got hit, but he still got on base.
Yeah, I think with me, maybe with Spencer Torkelson, it's that, and I was the one saying we shouldn't base our like 2024 projections on this. You know, we shouldn't let that cloud our thing. But I think I might be, because I do think Spencer Torkelson's going to have a good year.
Okay, that's fair.
I would bet that Spencer Torkelson will have a more effective and valuable year than Ty France will. But I can't argue with what we've seen throughout their careers to have Ty France in B with Spencer, or Spencer in C with Ty France. What I can kind of go off of is, like we said about the 2023 thing, it's the most recent. So the most recent thing we've seen was improvement from Spencer Torkelson and regression from Ty France. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what's also in my head. But for our, you know, collaborative list, I don't mind. What would you rather do? Would you rather see Spencer go to C or Ty to move to B?
I don't think it's fair to have Spencer in B without Ty France and C. They have to be in the same category, because Spencer was legitimately, Kyle, one of the worst players in baseball for 2 straight years, and then he popped off for 1 half, right?
That's fair.
Ty France from 2020 to 2022 in almost 335 games, hit 285 with a 355 on base and a 127 OPS plus.
So, do you think he should be next to Ty at C, or do you think we should move up Ty?
I think that we should move up Ty.
Based on your argument, based on what you just said, I feel it would make more sense to move Spencer down, because
I could go with that one. I could go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
I could go with that route.
What you're saying is correct, right? We've seen more bad than good out of him.
Okay, so I'm convincing you on moving Torkelson down, but then you're convincing me to keep Ty France at C.
Yeah, I'm the Ty France gatekeeper. I'm not letting him get no love in here.
No, you're good. What about one more name that's just like staring at me now that we're in the whole like Torkelson and Ty France conversation? Josh Bell. Let's see. Josh Bell had 28 doubles, 22 home runs. But we put him in B, didn't we? We put him in B, but does he deserve to be over those guys? Oh yeah, for sure. I'm looking at the OPS play. He's got years of a 142 OPS plus. He's got a 121 OPS plus since 2019. Yeah, I'm cool with him. He had 37 home runs in the juice ball era. Jeez. Wow. Yeah, I'm cool with Josh Bell and B. But I think this is a solid list.
Yeah, I think so too. I really think it is.
So there you guys go. We're definitely, we have different perspectives, but I think that's what makes this fun. And if you guys have an idea of what that last tier should be going forward, because again, this is the first one, first base, first makes sense. So if you guys want to see a it's not fair category, if you guys want to see an it's too early, what would you guys want to rate it? But for this ranking, honestly, Kyle, I feel like we did a really good job.
No, I do too. And I think I do think we think of these in similar ways. I know you are very up to date with all the stats in the baseball savant and all that stuff. So yeah, me and you make a good team on this, because I kind of like go off of everything else, I feel like. So, you know, we make a good effort to get down to the root rating of these guys. I'm excited for the future positions. I'm excited to keep doing these with you, and it'll give us something to stay busy until this baseball season comes up. Yep.
All right, guys, let us know in the comments, what position would you like to see next? And appreciate you guys always watching. Make sure you guys subscribe. Send it to a friend if you want to. Again, Apple Podcast and Spotify should be on the horizon. I just have to figure out a few things how to do that. But Kyle, anything else?
Oh, no, we are all good. We are good.
All right, man. Thanks for doing this with me, and we'll do it again soon, cutie.
Yes, sir. Love you, baby.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.